Yeah, so what I want to talk about today is kind of a little sad. I mean, it's sad in my opinion, anyway. Um, it's a really weird state of gaming that we have today. I mean, you're spending $500 plus tax on the higher end of the new age consoles, right? I think I had mine now since like shit. I want to say like 2020, maybe 2021. I can't remember exactly when I got it, but I've had it for a while. I've had it. I got both of them about a week apart. The Series X and the PS5, and the amount of last gen games I've played on these new consoles is like disturbing to me. And what I mean by that is, I think this is like the newest generation of console, right? That has nothing to be excited about. Like, there's no real big titles. Like, you got for PS5, God of War Ragnarok came out. Uh, The Last of Us Part 1, which was a remake, or remaster, technically. Still, I think they use a lot of the same code and voice acting and all that, and animations even. So it's like a higher end remaster more than anything. And then on the Xbox, the fucking game that came out on, or the game that was advertised on the back of the Series X box, the actual box that the Xbox came in, Halo, didn't come out for over a year after the console released. So I'm sitting here in Starfield, which by the way was supposed to be Xbox and PS5, but Xbox acquired Bethesda, so that's now an Xbox exclusive, which is all well and good, but I mean, any console 2-3 years in to their life cycle, you should be able to name 10 major AAA releases, and it's like you can't do that with the Xbox. It's like I sat here and I tried to rattle off 10. 7 of them were actually last gen, or they were quote unquote like refreshes, or like the game came out in 1080p at 30 frames a second on last gen consoles. Now you get like the 2K 1440p at 60 frames a second, and it has the PS5 box or the Xbox Series Xbox. It's just, I don't know, this console generation. Yeah, I get that it came out during a pandemic time and all that, but it's just, it's not worth it. Still not worth it. Years later, I mean, I paid $500 for each of these consoles, $1,000 total, and it's just, there's not anything to play other than last generation shit. It's just like, I don't know if the games now are so advanced that they take a lot longer to create, or to troubleshoot, or if there's like other issues, but it's like I watch things for this Unreal Engine 5, and they create a world, and I know it's like just a demonstration and it's on easy mode and all that shit, but they're talking about like they can make procedurally generated maps and things like that, and it's like, with that kind of technology, why can't you just create a game faster? And there's even remakes that are coming out, and they're coming out, as I said before, they're coming out at such a high rate, these remakes, that they're broken upon release. Like, I know it wasn't Rockstar that did it. It was like Grove Street Games or some bullshit mobile game company. But when they did that Grand Theft Auto Definitive Edition remake, or remaster, re-release, it was busted. It was broken on release. It was like not even up to par. Like, it released, and on PC, I got to play for about an hour, and then since the game is available through, at the time, Rockstar's browser or their game store front, they could actually shut down your ability to access that game, which is, I think, really fucking weird considering I bought the game. I paid for it. But they could just shut down, like I was playing the game, I was literally in the middle of it, and they could somehow send a kill code, like through, like, I don't know, just because like, you got to be connected to the internet or something, but it's like my game froze, and it, like, I don't want to say it crashed, it basically did, crashed to the desktop, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? I couldn't launch, GTA 3 Vice City, San Andreas, the trilogy remastered, and I go online and look at them like, what's going on? And they said that they, and by they I mean Grove Street Games, released the unfinished version of the game, and they need time to polish it. But the main problem is that they released the game's source code along with the game when they released it on PC. So, and this isn't the first time that Grove Street Games has screwed Rockstar's projects up. I mean, they're just, and that's just one example. But in Rockstar, I love Rockstar games. Don't get me wrong. I've said it before, but they've fallen far from what they used to be. They used to be a company that loved their fans. They used to be a company that, would be at the cutting edge of gaming innovation. And then there's the new Rockstar games after Dan Houser left and Leslie Benzies left, and it's just a shell of its former self. It resembles Rockstar games in name only. That's all it is. It's a studio that has become Take-Two's bitch, basically. And then you got I don't know. It's almost like depressing being a gamer in the modern age, because yeah, you have all these classic games, but it's like I could honestly see another video game crash coming, because it's just, there's a demand that's not being met here. They're just releasing remakes and remasters. It's almost like they've run out of ideas, and then the games that people do want, like Grand Theft Auto 6, people have been like begging Rockstar to release any kind of information on this game. We know that it exists. We've seen it in the leak that came out, I think it was almost a year ago now at this point. And I want to say a year before that, they said that the game existed, and that they were well into development, and they, we should stay tuned for more information, quote unquote, coming soon. And it's been 2 fucking years, and there's been nothing. It's almost like, anything that's worthwhile seems to be, I don't know, it seems to take like a long ass time to come out. It's ridiculous. And it's like, not to mention the fact that I know that every video game generation, the cost goes up for games, so that has to reflect in the price of the games. But now I get paying $70. Okay, I would say, yeah, $70 is worth it for a brand new original title. But you got games now, like I said, with the Last of Us Part 1 remake. There's nothing. I mean, there's some new things, like they added like clothing options and cheat codes and accessibility options, and obviously the graphics got bumped up a little bit. But I mean, sell it for like $50 or $60. Why did it be? Why did it be? Why was the game a full priced release? This is a game that, yeah, you polished an old game. It's a beloved game. Believe me, I understand, but charging a new game price for an old game is just like, it's bonkers to me. It's crazy as shit to me. And then you got games that are coming out now that are like clearly like B level games. Like you got A movies or AAA movies, and you got B movies and even shitty C movies. You got the same thing in video games. You got the AAA games, B and C. But now the B games, which used to be like, say, if we're talking about like PS2 timelines, it was $49.99 plus tax for a brand new AAA game, and it was $39.99 for a B game, and then it did the same thing on the previous generation, where it was now at that point $59.99, and then I think it was even still $39.99 for the B titles. It was always cheaper. But now you've gotten to the point where the game market is so, the gaming market is so starved for new titles that these publishers are like, yeah, well, we know that it's not a AAA title, but we're going to charge AAA prices. And then you get the game developer coming out going, well, we're upset that we didn't reach our sales goals, and yada, yada, yada. It's like, yeah, you didn't reach your fucking sales goals because you're charging premium prices for a less than premium product. That's why you didn't reach your sales goals. And the same thing's happening with movies. I talked about this on a couple podcasts ago, but like The Flash. It's like Hollywood and the games industry, the entertainment industry as a whole, especially like music, everything. It's a wasteful industry, and it's a expensive, needlessly expensive industry. Like with the Flash movie, okay, that movie hit over $200 million, and it's considered to be a fucking flop at $200 million. Okay, spending is out of control because that movie, I can tell you right now, that movie, it wasn't $200 million to make that fucking movie. There's no way. There's no way. Most of it was green screen and editing, and I get that there's, costs associated with that and yada, 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 but it's like, you're not... That's not a $200 million movie. You got, like... I know there's inflation and all that, but, they made the original Batman, or, my original Batman in 1989. I think it was like 118 million, and they adjusted for inflation, I guess I should say. It made almost like $1 billion in today's money. So, yeah, there's a discrepancy, but it's not only that, it's not only like the wastefulness for the prices of things. Like, I know that, I guess I'll touch on one more, like the Terminator Dark Fate. I think it got like $400 million, and they considered that a flop. It's like $400 million. If you make a movie so expensive that $400 million is considered flopping, you fucked up. That's the studio's problem. That's not the actor's problem. That's not the viewer's problem. That's a studio issue. $400 million. That means you spent that or close to that in the development of that movie. That $400 is not enough for you to, break even or consider it to be a success. It's just mind-boggling to me. And then these franchises are beloved, but they just I don't know. I think the time I'm kind of the opposite of Tom Cruise here. I think the time of the blockbuster is over. You know what I mean? The summer blockbuster. I mean, like, the movie theaters are more of a nostalgia thing now. And I don't know if any of you have been to the movies recently. But, okay, so I went with my fiance and my son, and we went to see the Flash movie with my brother Dave. My brother Dave, obviously, he paid for himself. I paid for, me and my family, and the tickets were because we had a coupon for like or a gift card or something for $25 off. So it was only like 20 bucks or something like that. So after $25 gift card, so that was almost $50 just for the three of us to go see a movie. Okay, that's already ridiculous. And then we went to the snack bar. And I know we got a couple things, and that was like another 40 bucks. So it's like it would have been almost $100 for three people to go see a fucking movie. It's like I get that they're like, oh yeah, you're supposed to. I did a rookie move, and I didn't, get snacks before I went, and I got hit with that theater inflation. But it's fucking ridiculous now that it's like almost it's too expensive to go see a movie for the modern family anymore. You gotta like save up, or you gotta hit like get the discounts. Like you gotta like sign up for emails and be a part of memberships and all this other unnecessary bullshit. Just to see a fucking movie at a movie theater, and it's like not even like a great experience anymore. The seats are fucking uncomfortable and shittily maintained. The sound wasn't really what I would consider great. It was kind of had a little bit of a hiss in the speakers and shit. It wasn't a fucking $100 experience. I'll just put it to you like that. To me, I would rather wait until the movie releases on digital platforms or DVD, Blu-ray, whatever the fuck the current media form is now. But and I'm not alone in this, obviously, because like I said, in the theaters, The Flash flopped, but when it released digitally on people, it was the number one most downloaded or bought piece of media the week it released. So it's like I'm not the only one here. Other people are starting to feel the same way. AMC, the Marcus Theaters, whatever local theater chain that's near you, they're overpriced. And that is, they're trying to put it on the movie problem. And yeah, it kind of is. And a movie has to be like either a big cultural popular thing to come out, or it has to be something that I call Oscar baiting to get people to go out and see it, like Oppenheimer and the Barbie movie. Now, the Barbie movie, obviously, that was going to be a big hit. It was talked about for years before it even came out, and there was videos and photos and shit being shared, and that movie was going to be big regardless because Barbie's it's a big property, intellectual property that just it's gonna rake in money. This is the first big. I think it's the first ever live action Barbie movie, but I'm not entirely sure. I'm not really a fan of that shit, so to each their own. But I mean, it's just not my wheelhouse. I mean, I think there's a superhero fatigue going on in movie theater or in movies right now. To me, I think that they probably should have like wound it down. Like especially, I think Marvel's really probably the main reason why there's superhero fatigue is because they just kind of flooded the market with it. Like I want to say the peak time was after Endgame, and it should have just like I don't know, it should have just slowly ended out the story and just left it there, and then picked it up maybe a couple years later, like let it cool down. But it's like they just kept, like they just put their foot on the gas pedal and just kept going. But really, in reality, the start of the whole MCU started with Robert Downey Jr. Well, technically with Edward Norton in that Hulk movie, but I think that might have actually been after Iron Man. I can't really remember. I can't even keep the shit straight anymore. But anyway, technically, it's Robert Downey Jr. that started the MCU. So when he died, when his character was killed off, that was just basically it. That was time to, start just wrapping shit up. That's the thing now, is that, people don't allow things to be created for the creative process. They don't allow it to be, this is a story that has a beginning, middle, and end. It doesn't do that. Nowadays, it's like, it makes money, keep fucking making it. Keep making it. It's like Call of Duty. That's another, we'll go back to the video games now. Call of Duty is the same way. It's like, it prints money. It prints money for Activision. So they're like, yeah, we'll release one every few years. Oh, we'll remake the titles. We're gonna reuse the name of previous games. But we're gonna make them completely new. So it's like, technically not this. It's gonna use that name, but it's gonna have a different story. I don't know why we couldn't call it a different name, but we're just gonna like hit that nostalgia to maybe bring back some old players, but also we're gonna rope in new people, and everybody. It's just like, you can you could count on it back in the day more like it was like every year or every other year, and it's still kind of the same way now. I think that it's still Infinity Ward and it's still Activision that are doing this, and they're doing like tit for tat, uh, and now I think Warzone. I haven't played a Call of Duty game probably since I started to notice that there was like a lot of copy and paste animations and story elements and story beats and all that. I think Ghost was my last Call of Duty. Ghost was, or Modern Warfare 3, Black Ops 3. I can't remember. It was Black Ops 3 or Ghost, whichever one of the two of those is the newest one. That's the last Call of Duty game I played, and I see my nephew play it, and I see you guys play it online, and I watch people do clips and things like that. I'm like, this game really hasn't changed, and there's been a release nearly every year or every other year since I stopped playing them, and I can't tell the difference. I really can't. Like, maybe it's like, yeah, it's a little bit smoother, or yeah, you have a battle royal mode with a map, and there's a battle pass, and it's just, I don't know. The landscape of gaming has kind of changed, and I can't necessarily say it's for the better. To me, it just more feels along the lines of like, being money grubbing, and people are just buying into it. You know, they're buying into it, and I don't know. I think they're kind of just selling it short. Like, for to go back to Rockstar. I mean, for they released GTA 5 10 years ago. The game came out 10 years ago. In about 2 months, it'll be 10 years old. And I don't know. I mean, like, it's a good game, don't get me wrong, but it's not a game that should have been played for 10 years. It's they tried their best to update it and do the online shit, but I don't know. Like, that same map for 10 years just is what's killing me. I can't really play it anymore. And then it's like, when I do get it on PC, I do have it on PC, and I mod in like a new map. They do some piddly ass update for some weak ass car that nobody's gonna buy, and then it changes the version of the game, so all the mods that I installed no longer work. So I gotta wait for like a week or two until someone makes an updated file number for that version number, so I can, have another new map. And it's messed up because even now through Steam, since Rockstar has its own page, I can't just say, don't keep this game updated on Steam, which is how I have it set. But as soon as I click it, the Rockstar Game Store app opens up and it updates through there. So it's like, I bought the game from one marketplace, but it has to connect to another marketplace, which fucks with it in unforeseen ways, and then the game launches. And it's just like, why can't I bought the game, it's stored on my hard drive, I purchased the ability to play this game why is it so hard just to leave me the fuck alone with that copy of the game? Like, it's like no other medium injects itself so intrusively into your purchase as digital gaming right now. Physical games is where it's at. If you're on the fence about getting physical or digital, always get physical because you should be able to play the game without being interrupted. Like I said, right now everything is like interweaved. So like if I have the game right on Steam and Rockstar servers go down and I try to launch the game through Steam, it won't launch because it gets rerouted through Rockstar servers. It's like a verification process. So technically, it's kind of fucked up to say this because I paid for it, and maybe you don't realize this yet. But when I say this, it may or may not destroy the illusion. But you basically don't own those digital games. You purchase a license nowadays. You're not purchasing the game. You're purchasing a license to play that game digitally and store it on your hard drive, which is really messed up, which means they can revoke that license at will. So, for example, if you pay, we'll say, what is it, like $60 for GTA, and then you spend $1,000 on online stuff, right? And you're having a good time, and then just like tomorrow, Take Two gets a wild hair up its ass and decides we're shutting down GTA 5. We're going to revoke all the licenses. I mean, there would be huge backlash. They wouldn't do this, but they could. They want to revoke all the licenses for GTA 5, so that means that, 12:01 on the dot, you go to click that icon or try and launch that game digitally, and you don't have the disc, it ain't going to play because your digital license got revoked. And that's the messed up part about digital gaming is that it gives you this false sense of ownership, and you don't own shit. You're better off, like, and it's even kind of tricky in a way with some of them, with some of the physical platforms too, because you could buy the game disc, right, and it's like uh, some weird way that they do it now is that the game data isn't stored on the disc. It's just like a an executable file on this disc. So you can have, I don't know, there might be like junk files on there, like verification shit. The Xbox or PS5 launch data, and then like the executable file and probably a couple like text documents and things like that. But when you stick it in your console, it it almost like there was like over 90% of the consoles now are hooked up to online. So when you stick it in the disk drive, your console reads it, knows what it is, and an install process starts to happen, and it downloads all the files off the internet, and it stores it on your hard drive like a digital game anyway. It's just how digital gaming works is that when you hit it, like you hit the icon to play the game, it's like it recognizes that you have a license and launches it. Whereas if you have a disc, it is going to ask you to put the disc in, and that disc is your license verification rather than it being a digital license verification, if that makes sense. That's kind of how it works nowadays. But the cool thing is that since you have physical ownership of that disc, you basically have physical ownership of the license. So as long as that data is on the server for the console, it'll always download and install it onto your console. But I mean, they could, I guess, remove the install data from the server from Sony or Microsoft. But I mean, like I said, that's like an extreme. I don't think a game has ever done that yet, except for like maybe like Two Human. where there was like a light or not a copyright infringement kind of thing going on, so they had to remove all physical copies of the game. But I believe if obviously if you possessed it physically, that game data was on the disc, so you're good there. But I want to say, Too Human, the digital gaming wasn't really a thing back then. I mean, it was kind of in its infancy. Because I want to say Too Human came out before Fallout New Vegas, and Fallout New Vegas was kind of like uh, in Steam's infancy. You know what I mean? Like it was digital gaming. It was kind of a newer thing, but it was cutting it. I mean, I don't know. There's advantages and disadvantages, but yeah, the whole digital licensing thing is always kind of weirded me out, and I think that I don't know. I don't think there's going to be physical consoles. I'm kind of leaping all around here, but I think in the future, I don't think it's going to be this generation. I think it's going to be after the next generation of consoles or the generation after that. But what'll happen is you're not going to have a physical PlayStation or a physical Xbox or Nintendo anymore. They're going to be an app on your phone, they're going to be an app on your computer or your TV, where you'll go into the Nintendo app and you'll have a library of games that you bought the license to play, and you won't even have to download it. It'll just be like streaming, kind of like a streaming service like Netflix. That's how I see it happening. So you're like, oh, hey, that new Halo game came out. Oh, cool. You know, I got Game Pass Plus Premium XL on my TV. We could just launch it from there. That's what'll happen. You'll hook up your controller via Bluetooth to your TV set. You won't have a console or a disc or no download. You'll just go right into the app. You'll find the game in the drop down menu. You'll click it. It'll launch. Boom, bam, bing. You're good to go. It's going to be like an instantaneous, seamless experience. I guarantee you, it's coming sooner than you probably might think. And the thing is, if you think I'm nuts, there's already a console application for each of these already. You could download a Nintendo playing app. You could download uh, uh, Xbox companion app, so you could play uh, Game Pass games on your PC, and then you could also seamlessly link to your Xbox console and stream it to your TV via your PC or your tablet or your phone, whatever. So all this stuff is, like I said, it's in PlayStation. That's PlayStation Now, where I think it became part of PlayStation. I don't know, but it's already happening. Is my point, and it's just only going to get better. And these console makers, so Steam and or not Steam, yeah, well Steam even is already in. They had the Steam box, but that's already a digital platform. My point is, they're going to see that the subscription and digital goods, services, and all that is going to be more profitable than selling a console that is technically outdated the day it releases. It's been outdated when Xbox and PS5 were released. They were already 3 to 4 months out of date when they hit the store shelves. They're still out of date now. Now they're years out of date. It's just, technology is evolving and improving so rapidly that having a physical console to stick a disc in or play a game through is kind of the limiting factor. Internet is getting faster. It's not getting cheaper. I can tell you that. It's damn sure not getting cheaper, but it's getting faster. I can see within probably the next 5 to 10 years. You know what? Not even 10 years. I'm gonna say within the next 5 years, 1 gigabyte per second is gonna be the norm. Like right now, like there was just fucking 5 years ago, 2 megabytes per second was the norm, and then it became 10, and then 50, 100, and now the average is 250 to 500 megabytes per second. So we're already halfway there, quarter to halfway there. Uh, so yeah, within 5 years, I don't think there'll probably even be an option to have 500 megabyte internet connection. It'll probably end up being, uh, you know, 850 or a gig. Which I mean, 850 to a gig, there's not really much of a difference there. So yeah, the gigabyte internet per second will probably be the standard very soon. And I mean, honestly, I can't wait. To get everything instantaneously. Like now, streaming even movies and TV shows, it's the physical device that is the limiting factor. Um, so like when you have a Fire Stick and you have that in your TV, and you're streaming a TV show, okay? Now the TV show is capable of streaming at, let's say, 4K, but for some reason you can't ever seem to get it to go above 720p, and it's because either your internet isn't strong enough to get the signal to get that type of resolution, or the Fire Stick itself is the limiting factor, that it doesn't have the components to pick up the wireless internet fast enough to, you output the video at that resolution. So it's a lot of geek things I'm talking about today. But yeah, I think that physical um, gaming consoles and video streaming, like Blu-ray players and shit like that. Even now, they're starting to evolve, where you get a Blu-ray player, and 9 times out of 10, it has like the ability to store, update, and do all that with apps. So they're starting to evolve along with the times as well. But it's just interesting to see. Like I said, I bet you it's either. I highly doubt that this console generation will be the last. There'll probably be like a mid generation refresh, because I don't think that this console generation has even really started. Like I said, there's it, you know, we, it they weren't really developing games for it before launch. Like the games that launched on these consoles were just subpar. Normally, a game console launches with like 5, 15, 20 games, and out of that 15 to 20 games, there's like 5 that are really great, that are just like they're worth the money and all that. And it's like you look at the launch titles for Xbox and PS5, and it was just kind of like, eh, yeah, there was nothing really. There was no must-have titles at launch, and I think that the pandemic certainly didn't help that. So what I think is that this console generation will have a mid-generation refresh like last time. So there'll be a Pro Series PS5, and there'll be a Series X version for the Series X. It's gonna have that mid generation jump, so it'll be like a an improvement, but it's not quite like a huge improvement. It's just a little bit of a bump, a little bit of a refresh. And I don't know. I don't know if they're gonna charge people the same price. I mean, right now, um, I don't think the consoles are worth $500. I mean, that's for sure. I think that yeah, they're just not worth it anymore. Not only because of, like, their physical power, but it's more. There's just nothing to play on them other than old shit, and you could play that on the last generation of consoles. So if you're wondering if now is the time to upgrade, I'd still hold off because there ain't nothing super exciting out there to play. I mean, I've been playing most of the stuff on my PC. I don't think I've turned my PS5 on. Like, I think the next game I'm waiting for on the PS5 is Spider-Man 2. The next game that I'm probably gonna, comes out on the Xbox, but I'm probably gonna play it on my PC is the Starfield game. So it's just one of those things where it's like, I'm kind of just sitting here wondering why I spent $1,000 on something I'm not really enjoying. Like they're just like decorative at this point. I mean, the fucking PS5 looks like a modern art sculpture. It looks like they tried to do like Hardak from Batman the animated series, but he's like laying down. Yeah. but it's just, I don't know. It's just like I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm getting older and I'm seeing like the ridiculousness for what it is. But it's like, yeah, like by this point in time, like in the PS2's life cycle, even the PS3's life cycle, there were hundreds of games to choose from, and now on the PS5 and on the Xbox, you don't have hundreds of options. You have remakes and remasters. I mean, I guess if you want to include them, you maybe have a couple hundred. It's just not. There's nothing really to choose, and it's like really weird. Is we got Cyberpunk, Phantom Liberty. There's DLC coming out for fucking Cyberpunk. Don't get me wrong, okay? I think Cyberpunk grew into a very awesome and playable game, and I'm gonna get Phantom Liberty because it looks awesome. But I mean, let's talk about this now, okay? The game came out in late 2020, and you're releasing a DLC 3 years later. That's a little, that's a little late, don't you think? I mean, usually if you're gonna release a DLC, it releases within a year of when the game launched. Like, it's just kind of weird to me, like how the modern gaming age is. It's just everything's so fucking slow. Why is it so fucking slow? It's like half in, half out. It's like when you have a game, right, and it's planned. You're actively developing that fucking game, and you're like, okay, we're gonna be 100% complete and ready to launch by this date. We're obviously gonna have a DLC. This Phantom Liberty had to have been planned. I can't imagine that the fucking game was just like a year ago, and they're like, you know what, we should do a DLC for Cyberpunk. Yeah, that's a good idea. Let's start on it today. No, I think they had to have been planning this. But the fact of the matter is that it took so fucking long. Yeah, I get that there was a pandemic, but I mean, cloud storage exists. You can have a digital server and Zoom meetings, and you could talk to people and be like, hey, we all have a digital copy of the game that we're linked to the server via VPN. Technology is our friend. We can develop this shit at home the same way we would if we were in office. But see, the thing is that people got kind of complacent, I think, at home, and they got to get kind of a little too comfortable. And it's like, if you're making a multi-million-dollar project, maybe, get the fuck up off your ass and work like you're getting paid to do it. It's just strange to me that that's part of the reason why shit's just not enjoyable anymore. It's not a passion project anymore. It's just, let's try and squeeze as many fucking dimes and nickels and pennies out of this that we can. Fuck whether or not people enjoy it. We're gonna release a subpar, broken piece of shit game, an overpromised, overpriced turd, and we're slowly gonna polish that turd over years and make it almost, almost as good as what people thought it was gonna be, and then we'll release a DLC making it what everybody wanted it to be. 3 fucking years later. That's a great idea for a business model. Jesus Christ. I mean, it's just like, I don't get it. Playing the shit out. It's a CD Project Red. This isn't like a fucking a double A studio. This is like, uh, a good studio, man. I don't understand how it failed. Like, it launched incomplete. And it was like, and that's another thing that really aggravates the shit out of me, is that they're announcing games now, and there's nothing for them. Like Fable, right? It got announced fucking years ago, and they still don't have anything to show for it. There's a CGI trailer where either you're playing as a miniature person, or you're playing as a normal sized person, and the other people in it are giants, but it's a CGI trailer. And I haven't seen any gameplay or anything for that game, but it was announced years ago. And Nintendo is guilty of this shit too. What the hell was it? Metroid Prime 4, I think it was. Yeah, Metroid Prime 4 got announced in like 2017. They showed the logo for it, and then a little teaser trailer, and then it's been just like fucking radio silence since 2017. You're leaving your fans fucking hanging in the wind like a windsock, going, "Hey, where's some news at for this thing that we like? I would like to know some stuff." And they're like, "What's your name?" Like, "My name's Tony." Like, "Fuck you, Tony." Like, they just they don't care. They're like, "Yeah, we're gonna get you excited, and we're gonna give you blue balls for fucking 8 years, and then we'll release a shit version, but we're gonna charge you full price for it. And then when you complain, we're not gonna care. We're gonna slowly release patches over the next 2 years to get it to work, and then when it finally starts to get to work, then we'll sell a fucking Game of the Year version, even though it came out 2 years previously. We'll sell a Game of the Year version with all the DLC and shit, and we'll sell it $10 more than what it was when it first launched." It's like, yeah, cool, thanks. It's like the entertainment industry, and then they're wondering why YouTube is getting so much money and so many views and all that. But YouTube is starting to have its problems. You know what I mean? Like, YouTube. Oh man, YouTube is making me fucking laugh. So I had a video, and this is just I'm speaking from personal experience here, and from experience of people I've talked to. Okay, so this examples I'm gonna give you are a small chunk of this larger world, but my personal experience first here. Okay, I had a video, right? You guys may have seen it, you may not have. Doesn't really matter. It's a Simpsons video. It was like, it literally had 999 views. I went to bed, and I'm like, awesome. I'm gonna have a, a video, another one of my videos go over 1,000 views. That's gonna be awesome. That's gonna be cool to see. I'm excited. Went to bed, woke up. Somehow my views got adjusted to 992, and it just stopped gaining views after that. Like the analytics were showing this thing going up. It was growing in popularity, and it was like getting the interactions and clicks, and it was like probably one of my most popular videos I've had for a while. And then it just died. Like, it just went stagnant, and I was like, I went to Twitter, and I talked to YouTube. I'm like, look, I had 999 views. It was about to tip over 1,000. It was getting like, I don't know, probably about 10 views an hour. You know what I mean? It was moving at a pretty good clip, and I wake up today, the views got adjusted, and it just fell flat. And no shit, their response to me was, it's normal for this to happen. We sometimes stop traffic on a video to verify its integrity and to make sure that it is a real and legit video. So I responded back to them. I'm like, look, I'm a newer creator, okay? And when I release something, this is like a dream of mine to have that many views and interacts and that much steam behind something. I'm trying to build up my channel, to make this something, bigger. And YouTube itself is preventing that from happening because they want to quote unquote verify the integrity of my videos. So their algorithm basically steered traffic to that video, saw that it was growing, saw that I was a smaller channel that was not monetized, which means that they weren't getting any money off of me, so they stopped me flat in my tracks. They stopped the video from getting more views. They stopped the traffic. They literally said it themselves in the post on Twitter. So it was like, okay, so I'm not like if I was monetized, it would have kept rolling. I guarantee you that video would have probably got 3,000, 5,000, 8,000 views. It would have kept just going and going. But since I'm not monetized and I was just about to hit that 1,000 view plateau, that's basically when YouTube starts paying attention. If you get a video that gets over 1,000 views, that's like the first little indicator to YouTube that, okay, there's something up with this video. It's got 1,000 views and it just came out earlier today. Checks and balances time, and it's like one of the first things it checks is this user monetized? And if the answer is no, they purposefully redirect the traffic of that video to someone who is, so they can make money. So Google, the big fucking money machine that it is, can't afford to have people watching my video when nobody's getting paid. So they redirect traffic. And then it's like you got, I don't know, it's really fucked up the way YouTube works. And I'm already blacklisted on the site, so, they literally have screwed me out of anything. I don't think I'm ever going to become monetized on the platform because the end all be all is I'm just not friendly to their bullshit. Like Sniper Wolf, who's come under fire recently because she just re-uploads content, gives minimal reaction, and then posts it on her channel, and it gets fucking gangbuster, millions of views. YouTube just fucking floods traffic into her channel. And it's because she's monetized, first off. It's because she's, not unpleasant to look at. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter that, she got arrested for spousal abuse and, all kinds of other crazy shit, but it's because she's good looking and YouTube's making money off of her. So they're like, yeah, let her do whatever she wants. But if you have someone who's like less than movie star good looking and has, I don't know, let's say 2,000 subscribers, did the same thing, that fucking video will be copyright stricken, the traffic will be slowed down and redirected. It's just, YouTube is content on keeping you on the back burner until it's needed. You don't become a star or monetized or anything on YouTube without YouTube's expressed blessing, basically. They can make or break a video for you. Literally, if for example, let's say just an idea. and this is how I think it works. Is say you have 100 big money making content creators. You know, and I know it's more than that, but we're gonna shorten the scale down a little bit just to explain this. So you have 100 megastar content creators, okay, and you have hundreds of thousands of potential big star creators, but you're purposely pushing them down. You know, you're putting a little extra algorithmic weight on them to push them from that leap to superstardom. So you're just like keeping a race car at a red light. And then below that, you have millions of users that just, are aspiring. And I'm in that millions of users part. I have no fucking delusion. I have no delusions of grandeur here. I know I'm not megastar material, but anyway. So you have that 100 group, 100 people up there that are just, your 100 best. They are your big money makers. But then two of them get involved in a little bit of a scandal. Maybe one's like, got busted selling drugs, and the other one is I don't know, he likes to have sex with fish or something. I don't know, something weird happened. So these two people get canceled, and they fall off. Okay, so you have your 100 best, but you're -2. Oh shit, we're starting to lose money. So you got these couple 100,000 down here that are just raring to go. They're race cars on red, just they're ready to go. So you take the two best out of them that are going to make money, and you stick them in that two open slot. And it's their time to shine, and they just get the green light and just take off. Gone. Now they're making money. They're big, and they're they're back up to 100% in that 100 content creator category. And then on the bottom level, where there was millions of people that were aspiring, you take two of those guys, and you move them up a level. And you're kind of just like pyramid filtering all the way up to the top. That's kind of how I think the algorithm works. It makes and breaks you based upon what you do in your personal life. So if you have strong opinions about something, you lose some social credit there. We're working like China with the social credit system. You said a couple offensive words on social media, your credit rating drops, and the algorithm takes notice and puts you in this category or that category. So, how Sniper Wolf, well, it's not a mystery. We know how it is because, again, she's not unpleasant to look at, and she makes a fuckload of money, and YouTube loves money. They're like Mr. Krabs. Hello, I like money. That's what they are. That's them, 100%. So she hasn't done a cancelable offense because apparently women beating up on men is okay. But if it was a male creator like Markiplier ended up smacking the shit out of Amy and got arrested for it, he would fall from grace, faster than fucking 10 times gravity. He would just fucking fall out of orbit and drift off into space. So, and he would be replaced, by that couple 100,000. There would be a, you're the next Markiplier kid. Ping, up you go. You go up the pyramid filter that is YouTube. So all the people at the bottom, like me, the millions that are just like aspiring, they wish that they could go up. But see, the thing is too, and this is really the crazy part, and why I use this as kind of an outlet to talk to you guys and to interact with you and have fun. I'm not really trying to make money off of this platform because every single YouTuber that I follow, who I would consider to be within that, quote unquote top 100 biggest creators, every one of them that I follow has made not just one but multiple videos about how YouTube is screwing them out of money, or how YouTube is making it harder and harder for them to earn a living, and how Google doing this and changing that, and how the algorithm is always a mystery, and they have a YouTube representative that they have been assigned. It's kind of like an agent, and they contact that agent, and a lot of times not even that agent knows what the hell's going on or why this is happening. So it's like working for a mysterious child who just wants you to succeed because money is happiness to this child, but also the tiniest thing will make that child hate you and cast you out. That's kind of how YouTube works. You know, when you're working within the circle, you're coloring within the circle. YouTube loves you, and it's gonna keep you well stocked on markers. You know what I mean? But the moment that you cross a little bit of a line outside of that circle, the page gets turned on you and all your markers get taken away. No more coloring for you. That's kind of the way it works. So it's certainly easier for people who are big time YouTubers. 10 years ago, it was easier to get in. 10 years before that, it was, I don't know if even YouTube was around 20 years ago. I can't remember. But as time goes on, it is like harder and harder for you to become quote unquote successful with being a content creator on YouTube. So that's going to be its own challenge. So 10 years from now, it's going to basically be almost impossible to create a quote unquote successful channel without having YouTube crawl up in your ass with a microscope. Like I said, everything is going to be so interlinked that something that you typed on your computer in like first grade will follow you for the rest of your life, and somebody will dig that up and they'll be like, well, you called Lisa a poo-poo nose in first grade, so we're gonna like just, you know, take away some of your popularity points. That's kind of how the system is going, and it's a little bit of an exaggeration for comic purposes, but yeah, it's one of those things with YouTube where if you say a naughty word like shit or fuck, the auto AI algorithm of YouTube in all its infinite glory blacklists your video. And depending on how many times you say that word, I've already probably said it 10 plus times in the hour I've been recording, but every time you say it, it's like a point system. You know, your points get knocked off, so no matter how much you triple keyword your title and the perfect tags and perfect description, none of that's going to matter because you're losing points by this mysterious AI algorithm, and it places traffic upon you if you get within that coloring circle that you're supposed to hit 100%. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of, that's why I haven't had any new videos to show here lately, is because everything is like kind of just getting boring. Like, you know, the most interesting gaming market to me right now is the indie circuit. You know, going on there and finding any indie horror games or indie developers that just are willing to take risks and try something new and interesting. And they're not afraid to possibly offend people in the process. Whereas all these, you know, bigger titles, they play it safe. They play it safe, and it's like I made the last video I made where there's two copies, an edited version and a non-edited version. The edited version was actually like making fun of the tropes. So like in a horror game, there's the lights go out, there's a sudden loud noise, lights flash on, jump scare, lights go out again, and that process literally happens. Like you could almost like set your phone to it. It's just like every 4 or 5 minutes in a horror game there has to be a jump scare by a sudden loud noise, something running into camera, or the lights cut out, scream, jump scare, lights cut on, show creature, lights cut off. And it does that repeatedly. So it's like once you play so many horror games and you kind of get into the swing of things and know what's coming, it's not really exciting or fun anymore. There's nobody really innovating anything anymore. So that's why I haven't really played anything. And I think like what I'm planning on doing, just in case, you know, if somebody made it this far, if you made it this far into the podcast, then God bless you. I've been rambling for a minute here, for an hour actually, over an hour. But the plan is now, next weekend, what I'm probably going to do is I'm probably going to play Season 1 and Season 2 of, like, Batman, the Telltale's Batman. Because I bought Season 2, and I just never played it. The whole thing pissed me off with Season 1, where I bought the whole season, and they would release, like, one episode, like, every month. So it took 5 months to be able to play the entire game. And by the time you got to episode 5, you forgot all the other like, every episode you played, the day it released, or the weekend it released, and then you kind of, like, forget what happened in the previous episode. So it was like, I don't know, I got kind of frustrated, so I bought The Enemy Within, or maybe that's not, maybe it's the second one. Shadow, so I don't know what the hell the second season is called for Batman, but I bought it and I purposely waited, like, to make sure that all the episodes got released. So yeah, I've never played season 2 of Batman. I'm gonna play season 1 just to kind of re-up on the story and put myself back into the mindset of that story and that universe. And then I'll probably continue on and play part 2, or maybe I'll just I'm pretty sure if you play part 2 or season 2, there'll probably be like a season 1 recap. And I might just do that. I don't know. Maybe I'll just play season 2. I never played season 1 on the channel. I think I streamed like an episode or 2 on Twitch when I first started doing this, and then I realized I didn't really like Twitch. So I want to do more of a YouTube thing. But yeah, so I'll probably do. That's probably what I'll end up doing, is playing season 2 of Batman's Telltale on here. Just because it's something I really want to play, and I don't really care if people watch it or not. I mean, YouTube's pretty much going to push me down to the bottom of the algorithm anyway. But anyway, I did enough rambling. Thank you all for watching, subscribing, and clicking that bell. And we'll see you in the next one. Later.